From Junior X30 to Senior X30 here at Little Rissington, and Sam Marsh and Scott Mackerel, not surprisingly, on the front row. Brett Ward and Matt Hurst on the second, Josh Collins, Ewan Wilson, the rookie Davey Shepherd and Jonathan Paler rounding out the top 8, and Jack Partridge in P12 could be one to charge through the field as into the first corner we go for the first time, and already Sam Marsh has lost the lead. That is a surprise. He's dropped down to second position already as into first position goes the 16 of Scott Mackerel. He's got the start absolutely perfectly as the field tiptoes its way through the loop and up to top bend in these tricky conditions. Ewan Wilson, though, he's got a long race ahead of him.
S8 Racing man off through turn 1. There's places being lost up through top bend as well as they come down through the S's into the dog leg. You can see why this is a dog leg, can't you? It's that very tight hairpin followed by this hairpin. Really does look like a dog leg, hence why it's called a dog leg. Brings you out from the dog leg down to bottom bend through here. Sam Marsh in second place, won the earlier heats and the pre-final, but he's second now. He's the Rotax Max senior champion from last year, of course, moved over to X30 this season.
Often the way, isn't it? The pressure's off in the heats and the pre-final. You can just get the job done. But once the TV cameras come out, it's really time to shine. And that's when the gremlins start to work their way into the machinery. Or the mistakes start to creep in and spice up the action for us folks here in the commentary box. Right, so let's look up over the circuit once again from the drone. Fantastic pictures. Now that the rain has stopped, we can actually get a little bit closer to the best pictures the drone can give us. As look at the lead Mackerel is already picking up. This is only lap 2 and he's got a massive advantage. That is just the difference between the two of them in these slippery conditions.
Yeah. Oh, there's a little bit of contact there for 4th and 5th place. That's Collins looking to move up the inside of Matthew Hurst. Couldn't get it done there, but looks like he's going to get it done now. The 46 is Brett Ward. He's running in 3rd place, but Collins can't get it done there and still can't get it done through Pitts Bend.
It's a great little battle this, isn't it, as we watch them scrap over 4th position. Meanwhile, 3rd position, Brett Ward, we saw his details come up. He's one of your ones to watch, of course, Alan, and I would not at all be surprised if he throws something into the works here for Sam Marsh. He's there in 3rd position, swarming all over the back of him. Mackerel's checking out in front. He's doubled that lead in the last lap. He's absolutely flawless here in the wet conditions. Meanwhile, Brett Ward is giving Sam Marsh bags of pressure.
Great overall view. That's another move for 4th place there. That looks like Collins has finally got through and has the 96 lost another place. It looks like he has.
Yep, that's who is that moving up
74,
the position?
Jack Partridge.
Partridge now trying to defend as he comes back to the inside, but no, through into 5th position once more comes Matt Hurst. Partridge trying everything to get that position back, but that's actually cost him dear, and now he's falling into the clutches of Charlie Turner, who is there in 7th position. Great little battle going on here with the Norasport driver in the middle of the mix, and still Brett Ward challenges Marsh, and still, bye-bye boys, Scott Mackerel's out in front by a mile.
He's loving it, isn't he? Loving these conditions, whatever setup he's got on that car, whether it's tyre pressures or anything else, he is loving it. He's clearly going to take this one, unless his kart goes off. He may be running very high tyre pressures. You can see a dry line starting to appear, but I don't think it's going to go that dry by the end of the race. He could potentially have his kart off, can't go off by the end of the race, and these two come into play, but it doesn't look like it at the moment. Brett Ward, though, looking very feisty in 4th place. The 12 kart there, Collins, now well clear in 4th.
Charlie Turner got it a little bit wide in the elbow, and he's now scrapping it out with Matt Davies in the 21. Big slide wide there from Marsh. He's under so much pressure from Brett Ward, who's really starting to take it to the Mackerel. He's already halfway through the hairpin by the time they get to the braking zone. This is starting to remind me a little bit of 2013, Ben Barnicoat, when he was scrapping with Mark Litchfield for KF2 honours at Glanagh Gorse in 2013 here in Super 1. Absolutely romped away against Mark Litchfield of all people.
Yeah, I think he won by about 30 seconds, didn't he, that day? And Mark had no response whatsoever. He was sort of shaking his head when he came in after the race, just couldn't get anything together, and Ben just scooted off in the distance. And we should mention as well, Jake, how great to see Ben doing really well at the moment, isn't it?
Yep, he just recently took his first European Formula 3 race victory with Racing Steps Foundation backing, and that all started right here in this paddock, Super 1. So, from small acorns, incredible oaks can grow. This is a real problem as the 99 Eleanor Morris gets a bit of a roadblock in the mix there for Sam Marsh. He's lost a lot of time. Unfortunately, Mackerel lost about the same amount of time, stuck behind him as well, but that's now put Ward right on his tail again, and now 4th position. He's right in the mix of this battle as well. The 12 of Josh Collings has caught on to these two, so it's now a 3-kart scrap for 2nd place.
Yeah, the Morris family, of course. Richard, Anna and Eleanor. Eleanor, the eldest of the 3. Richard and Anna 16, Eleanor 19. They're just having their private battle this weekend, just enjoying their first Super 1 experience.
That is Anna Morris in the 78 getting out of the way, actually. She didn't cause any issues there for the drivers in the lower positions, so good work for her. Anna getting out of the way, and still this battle for 2nd place intensifies as Marsh, look at this, he's slingshotting the kart through every corner. Come on, you've got to give me something that can get away from Brett Ward and onto the back of Scott Mackerel, who'll be fuming in that helmet. How is he getting that far away from me? I won both heats and the pre-final at a canter for this series. I can't be losing this much time to him. He's hemorrhaging it at the moment.
You have to bear in mind as well that the rains come late, so they won't have a full setup on these karts for the wet. The likelihood, I mean, they would likely move seat positions, raise the seat height and all sorts of different things. They won't have had enough time to put a full wet setup on, and in those circumstances it's often the case that the driver that just deals with the conditions better than anybody else, it's not always about kart setup, it's about how you drive in the wet. If you like the wet conditions, you can make hay while the sun shines, or in this case, while the sun doesn't shine.
And while we're talking about the sun not shining, it's not shining for the 54 either, is it? Aaron Mills, he hasn't really managed to make his way forward into the mix for victory either, and that's really going to hamper his chances. Trying just to look back through the field and figure out where he is, the 54 of Aaron Mills. He should be coming through the shot fairly soon. We didn't even see him, so Aaron Mills having a nightmare here.
Absolute nightmare this weekend for Aaron Mills. We know he's got major qualities, winning the Junior TKM title, of course, but this is a different animal. The X30, always different from what you're used to if you've moved across from one class to another. To be honest with you, I'm a little bit surprised not to see Aaron Mills back in TKM this season, with the TKM Extreme class having 47 entries and Aaron Mills not one of them.
That's a good point you make there, actually, Alan, about the difference between the different karts, because people watching at home are probably sitting there thinking all these karts look exactly the same. What is it about the X30 that makes it a particular different beast to some of the other karts we have in the paddock?
Well, yeah, to be fair, I don't know a lot about X30, but what I do know is what people say. They say it's the level playing field, although, as I'm always keen to point out, Jake, for me, TKM has always been the level playing field and continues to be the level playing field. We see fantastic racing in TKM Extreme, but this is the new class to karting and it's very popular. Not massive grids here, but massive grids in the Little Green Man Championship. I think the grids of something like 80 in juniors and seniors.
Oh, that's a bit of a moment there for Eleanor Morris. Unfortunately, the 99 going off the circuit into the dogleg there. We've just caught that one. Whatever you do, don't say the words level playing field to Sam Marsh. He probably doesn't think there is one at the front of this field, losing that much time to Scott Mackerel, considering he was winning in the earlier 3 races. He just doesn't seem to have a reply here for the 16 of Scott Mackerel, who, let's be fair to the Coles Racing driver, they've got everything right here.
Well, they certainly have. I mean, the wins earlier on for Sam there on the 19 were in the dry, of course. The 2 heat wins and the pre-final in the dry. Come the wet, if you haven't got a full wet setup on, who knows? You know, that's we're seeing a different result here, but keeps the championship interesting and spicy. But listen, Sam Marsh is an old campaigner. Sam knows you don't win it at round 1. He's already won 2 heats in a pre-final. He's in a nice position for the championship. He's not going to lose too much sleep over losing this final.
Absolutely, and those victories from earlier on, of course, are going to put him in good stead points-wise in the final. 3 victories in a row, you can't underestimate that. A little bit later on into the race, not much change at the front. Mackerel still out in first position, 2nd place for Marsh. And this little battle getting a bit tasty. Brett Ward has now lost the back of Josh Collings, who's into 3rd position. He slotted through. We didn't see where he got through, but it's still the same top 3 after vast majority of the race is now gone. Mackerel, Marsh and Collings. It's the battle for fourth position that could end up getting a little bit tasty, and they're not a million miles away from the back of Josh Collings. So these three still very much in the mix. Brett Ward, then Matt Hurst, and then the 74 of Jack Partridge.
Well, Partridge started 12th. It looks like, I think, is that 6th place he's in?
It is, yes.
Yeah,
Partridge
Jake.
is right there.
And we know he's got quality, don't we, from his junior TKM days as well.
Yeah, Jack Partridge is one of those names who could easily have stepped up into the world of single-seater racing and made a name for himself by now, but that's not his way. He's a karter through and through.
And talking of junior TKM champions, there's Matt Davis as well on the 21, another former junior TKM champion. So we've got two junior TKM champions in this one, and Jack Partridge, who arguably could have been a junior TKM champion.
Absolutely, we're into the last lap. Matt Davies, the fastest man on track in these conditions. Not every superstar teenager leaves the world of karting to move into single-seaters. Some of them realise that once you get into the top level of karting, it doesn't get any better. It's still the best sport in the world for some of these guys, and they are absolutely loving it, which is why you're seeing drivers like Scott Mackerel charging away out in front. Although I have to say, he's lost a lot of time in the last couple of laps. The lead is not as big as it was. Sam Marsh is right there with him. I hope he hasn't got a problem that's developing to the final part of the race. Going through the field, I think he's just looked after his lead. It's nothing too dramatic. Marsh has closed him up big time, but he's not going to lose this lead now. Mackerel comes through, takes the checkered flag. Fantastic performance in Senior X30. Whoops, up and over for somebody towards the back of the field, but it's Marsh who takes the win. Mackerel who takes the win even. Marsh in second position. Third place for Josh Collings, Brett Ward, Jack Partridge, Matt Hurst, Matt Davies, Paler, Turner and Shepherd rounding out the top 10 as the leading rookie. But what a drive from Mackerel.
Scott, a fantastic race in the wet, but talk us through that start. That was a demon start.
Well, that was the game plan all along, to be honest. It was just trying to time that right, because I thought if it rains, I think I might have it. So I was just getting that bit right and just chill from then on.
I've never seen a more chill drive from Scott Mackerel, and it brings him to 7 points behind Sam Marsh in the championship fight. Brett Ward, Matt Hurst and Josh Collings are separated by just a single point in their battle for third position, and they're not too far away from the leaders. Anything can still happen in Senior X30, and coming up, it's another championship where anything can happen. Army Cadet. Bring the noise, boys. It's going to be a good one.